I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume. So I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. So we've read all the stuff building up to the birth of Christ, the year just before Christ's birth. John the Baptist is now born. He was born about 6 months before Christ. So John is born. The angels have already announced John's birth to Zacharias, has appeared to Mary, has appeared to Joseph. Nephi has been translated back in America, and his son Nephi has taken over as the high priest. And the people in America are, a lot of them, saying the time has passed for the fulfillment of the prophecies, and the faithful are holding on, but are getting a little worrisome about all this going on. Now, we turn back to Luke. In this video, we have a Joseph Smith translation. And what the Joseph Smith translation is, this is a translation or correction done by Joseph Smith to restore those passages that have been lost or corrupted over the years. And read in chapter 2. But again, we want to go in order, in chronological order. So we're going to read the first 5 verses in this video. Angelic ministrants herald the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem. He is circumcised, and Simeon and Anna prophesy of his mission. At 12 years he is about his father's business. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one to his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. So this is just a few days before the birth of Christ. This decree goes out from Caesar. This is not just a tax. He's not just saying, okay, everybody pay your taxes. This is a census. Everybody has to go back to the place of their origin, their family, the city of their family. Joseph is of the lineage of David, therefore he has to go back to Bethlehem in order that he may be registered as a descendant of David. And this is just shortly before the birth of Christ. And you'll understand why I stop it here, why I don't quite read the birth yet. Because right now they're journeying from Nazareth down to Bethlehem, and while they are on this trip, while they are on this journey, the next thing we're going to read is what's going on among the Nephites, while Joseph is bringing Mary down to Bethlehem. But remember, this is more than just a tax. That's why they have to go. But also remember that this was prophesied of in Micah. Micah stated that Christ would be born in Bethlehem. And so we have to get Joseph and Mary down to Bethlehem in order to fulfill this prophecy. Now we'll read a little bit more about that in Matthew, when we get to Matthew again. But that's why this is going on. And this is Caesar Augustus. This is early on. I believe Caesar Augustus became emperor just a few years before this, like 4 or 5 years before this. And so he's taking a survey of his empire. And this wasn't just the Israelites. The entire empire was being surveyed. We're getting a census. He wants to know who is in his empire so that he knows how to tax them and how to conscript them into the military. All the things that are needed for managing the government. You need to know who's in your kingdom if you're going to be an effective government leader. That's what's going on here. Now, before we end this, there are some minor Joseph Smith translations here. In general, very minor. So, of course, in verse 1, in the King James, it says, a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. Of course, he has no authority to tax all the world. The Germanic tribes are not part of the Roman Empire, neither is Persia. Persia was never conquered by Rome. There's a lot of places in Africa that are not part of the Roman Empire. So, Joseph Smith corrects this, a decree from Caesar Augustus that all his empire should be taxed. Makes a lot more sense. Now, verse 2 is just simplified. It says in the King James, and this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor in Syria. And that was in parentheses. Joseph Smith removes the parentheses and renders it, this same taxing was when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. In verse 3, he simply changes the word into to in, minor grammatical update. And in verse 5, he adds the word there, she being great with child. So in the King James, it's just to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And he adds in the word, she being great with child, clarifying who it is that is great with child. It is not both of them, it is Mary. Simple changes. Now, we leave that there and we turn back to 3rd Nephi for a few brief moments before we continue with the birth of Christ. So I will see you there.